Hello everybody. Today I just have these 3 birds left to cut out, hopefully, for the piece I'm working on called Beethoven's Revenge. And these small birds are the dot 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 and the dot 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 da. So these are the dot dot dots in the dot 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 dash of V for Victory. And I hope they're small enough. They might not be small enough, and I might have to make a new template, make some smaller birds. And I wanted to talk about something kind of vulnerable, which is my video game addiction. I don't know if you can really call it an addiction. There's still a lot of debate out there in any case about what constitutes a behavioral addiction, or if that's even really a thing. And there's this, this term that's been around for a little while called dopamine addiction, which is not really a thing either, because our brains need dopamine. It's what creates our reward system. It's the neurotransmitter that makes us do stuff. So you have to have it. You just you might want to use it more wisely, I guess. So, yeah, for the past few years, I've had kind of a problem where I just got kind of addicted to these match 3 games on my phone. Things like Candy Crush, but not Candy Crush. Ironically, because I'm afraid I'd get addicted to it if I were to play it. It's a worldwide phenomenon how addicting and life-ruining Candy Crush is, but I'm addicted to things that are maybe a little less chill. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about what it does to my brain and why I need to stop. Because, it might seem like a very harmless little thing. And, kind of a humanizing thing, which is nice. Like, oh, you're people. You play all these video games just like I do. Yes, I do. And I never used to. I don't know what started me on this. I think there was this cat. It was my brother's cat I was watching. And then he died of a blood clot while I was watching him. And there was nothing I could have done to change the course of events in any way. But I was so traumatized by it, of course, that I just sought out some video game therapy. And there you go. I was also very overwhelmed by everything that I have to do in my art business, because it is a lot. I might have to make a video at some point that shows you just how much goes into running an art business. And I don't do even half of what I ought to be doing. But I don't know how I can. I'm just one person. Most businesses are not just one person. And it's hard for any business at all. But it's just saying, it's also hard for an art business. So I got overwhelmed with everything I need to do. Decided to do none of it. Oh, wait. Sorry, I had to reach for my cutting pad in my very squeaky chair. So, yeah, here's what I noticed happening with my brain when I play video games. And, oh, this is such a nice X-Acto knife. I just changed the blade. It is so smooth. It just cuts through like butter. That's one secret to doing this, is you really do have to change your blade very frequently to get smooth cuts. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying the video games and what they do to my brain. Okay, the retina burn. That is the worst part. I'm sure you've experienced this. If you play any game long enough, there'll come a point where you can't stop seeing the little characters and the symbols of the game in your waking life. Maybe you're reading. Like I remember as a kid playing too much Super Mario Brothers, reading a book, and just seeing Mario run across every line of text and jump up and get some coins once in a while. Or, maybe you play too much Tetris and then you're like, close your eyes and you keep playing the game and you're like, am I cheating? Because I keep winning here. I keep getting exactly the pieces I need. How weird is that? And I would notice this would happen even with my eyes open. If I'm like standing in the shower staring at a white wall and I just see the little tiles falling down with my actual open eyes and I'm trying to match 3 and I keep doing it. I keep winning. I keep matching those 3. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Also, that's kind of how you know maybe you have a problem. And the biggest issue is when that retina burn happens while you're meditating. And you close your eyes and that's all you can see is these little tiles and you're trying to match 3 all the time. And it's very distracting. And it's distracting no matter what you're meditating for. Someday I'll get more into that, about the different reasons to meditate, the different ways to meditate. And so having that retina burn will get in the way if you're meditating to clear your mind or to be mindful. It might help if you're being mindful. Well, it's one more thing to be mindful of. But if you're trying to void your mind, then it definitely doesn't help. For me, I tend to meditate to get messages from, some source, maybe within myself, maybe outside of myself. I don't really know. But in either case, having all those little retina burn images takes a toll. It makes it difficult to get messages from your unconscious mind if it's full of these images already. I thought it was especially interesting when I started playing like a 3D match game. And the whole point of those is that you're trying to clear junk so you can get to the real objects you have to match. And it feels very much like that. It was a very apt metaphor for trying to meditate when your brain is full of these retina burn images. You're trying to clear the junk out so you can access your pure unconscious mind, or pure source, or whatever you want to call it. And it's that way when you're meditating no matter what. You don't need the game. The games just make it harder. You're always, when you're meditating, you're trying to clear out the junk so you can touch the very most foundational part of your brain. That is the point. And it doesn't matter what you're meditating for. If that might be the whole purpose of your meditation, is just to clear out the junk and get to source, touch that fundamental void of who you are. Or you might be trying to get a message. And either way, those techniques are the same. You have to start with the void every time, because you can't get free-form flowing messages out of your brain unless you touch the void. So you can't fill it with junk. That is a major distraction that will not help at all. And I mean, also yes, there's huge value in just being able to be bored and space out. And the video games prevent that, because as soon as you're even just a little bit bored, you reach for the game. And so I was very intentionally trying to use this past week to just be bored. If I'm waiting for the bus, just wait for the bus. See what happens. And by golly, that is when I get my best ideas. So there's a huge value in learning to space out and just embrace that. I was always teased for being a chronic spacer outer in elementary school. And I was just called a space case all the time by everybody. And they weren't wrong, but I also don't think that's a bad thing. It took a long time for me to believe that maybe that wasn't a bad thing. But we don't do enough of that in our society. We don't let ourselves get bored. We don't see the value in it. I mean, there was that famous study where they had people just sit in a room for like an hour or something with nothing in it except a button that would deliver a strong electric shock if they were to push it. And almost everyone pushed the button and got an electric shock. So we really fear boredom a whole lot more than we fear pain of any kind, which honestly I think explains an awful lot about reincarnation, but I'm not going there right now. So yeah, just turning off the video games and allowing myself to space out the luxury of boredom gave me a lot of great ideas and a lot of creative solutions to problems that I had. So I highly recommend it. That getting off the video games and allowing yourself to be bored will clear your mind so you can receive messages from other parts of your brain or spirit more easily. And yeah, let yourself space out. You'll have some great ideas, some great revelations. So that's what I have to say today. Thank you for listening.